That's what's happening here in the center of Boston. Let's see what's happening down south in Miami Beach with Kerry Sanders. Hey there, Kerry.
Hey, Rahima, Happy New Year. They're saying here Y2OK. Down on the beach here, typical South Florida fashion, people showing up kind of late, but getting here in time for the strike of midnight. We have about 400,000 people, according to officials, arriving down here. Only one minor glitch tonight, and they think they've worked it out. They have 4 barges off the beach here, and on those barges, they have the fireworks. One of the barges broke its mooring and washed in on the beach. So the police department, with the help of the Coast Guard, went out there and pulled it back out. They're ready for the fireworks show, and I guess that's what they're also waiting for in Chicago, and that's where Ann Thompson is. Feliz Año Nuevo, as they say here in this city, with a Latin beat, Ann.
Happy New Year from the Windy City, Kerry. Here in Chicago's Navy Pier, some 55,000 people have joined us. Many of them have lined up to take a ride on the Ferris wheel here at Navy Pier to get a bird's eye view of the city of Chicago. Yes, there will be a big fireworks display in about 2 hours from now because we are in the central time zone. It is supposedly the largest fireworks display in the city's history. There will be 4 different sites from which fireworks will go off in Chicago to greet the new millennium. The other big party that's going on is over at McCormick Place, where Mayor Richard Daley has invited one person from every country in the world to come party with Chicago, to have a big dinner and a dance to ring in the new year. That's the story from Chicago. Now let's check in with Fred Francis in Las Vegas. Happy New Year, Fred.
And to you, Ann. Here in Las Vegas, security hardly visible on the street. One security man told me today, while the rest of the world calls this Sin City, in the security business, they call this Surveillance City. There must be 100,000 cameras in this city watching every move. A visitor can go from one end of this 3.5-mile strip all the way to the other end, weaving in and out of hotels, and be watched the entire time. So they're somewhat relaxed here tonight. The streets are starting to fill up, but they still haven't closed the strip. We're still a few hours away. We expect that strip to be closed within the next hour. Tom?
Thank you very much, Fred Francis in Las Vegas. Think about that, just 100 years ago, even less than that, as a matter of fact, that strip of desert in Nevada was occupied by little more than coyotes and jackrabbits. Now it's the fastest growing city in America. We'll be back live from Times Square, a little more than an hour to go now before midnight here in the Eastern Time Zone to welcome the millennium. We'll be back with more after this.
10 minutes till bed. You better be clean up there.
Bounty's strong enough to go places and get up stuff you wouldn't think a paper towel could. But then, it's not your ordinary paper towel.
It's quiet. Too quiet.
The quilted top fixer upper Bounty.
I was about as miserable as a girl could be. Heartburn worse than yesterday's coffee. And pain. My antacid didn't do the whole job. And Pepcid takes so long. Then I tried Alka-Seltzer. It just plain worked better.
Alka-Seltzer, the only one with the medicines to relieve all your symptoms.
It really works fast.
And only Alka-Seltzer has the effervescent power to speed relief.
Alka-Seltzer. It made a believer out of me.
Get better relief. Get Alka-Seltzer.
This is my invention. The silverware instrument. C'est les lunettes éclairantes. You could slide them, but they don't slide by themselves. It worked. It worked. Headlight. It could change somebody's life. 24-hour sandals. That is the greatest idea I've ever came up in my whole life.
This is the face of erectile dysfunction. So is this. And this. Fact is, 1 in 3 men have some form of ED, a medical condition also called impotence that affects men of every age, race, and background. What else do all these men have in common? They all faced up to their problem and got help. If you're experiencing ED, there's no need to hide your face. Just talk to your doctor. It's the best way to get educated about ED and how to treat it.
What are your favorite moments of the millennium? A special time with family? A celebration with friends? or one of mankind's greatest journeys. Now you can have them all on one special Kodak picture CD that's yours free. It contains all your Kodak pictures from your latest roll of film, plus excerpts from life's collection of the greatest pictures of the 20th century. Look for this free, limited-time offer at participating Kodak retailers.
Good evening, I'm Amy Watson. Coming up next at 10, wild parties to welcome year 2000, from Paris, France to what's happening right now at Times Square, to celebrations at Paducah's riverfront. We'll have live reports to show you all the Millennium Madness and the latest from command centers about Y2K's effect. The news is next.
New York City, the heart of the Big Apple, Times Square. Look there, you'll never see a greater collection of humanity assembled in the canyons of this great city than you're seeing tonight. The police commissioner was saying there are at least 1 million people there. There could be as many as 2 million, all exceptionally well behaved. One of the memorable quotes of the 20th century came from Walt Kelly, who is the creator of Pogo. He said, "We have met the enemy and he is us." Tonight, we have met each other and we're all having a very good time. It really is extraordinary the way this 20th century has ended around the world. We've had 2 world wars and Holocaust, the atomic bomb. We still have the triumph of space travel, of course, so many advances in medicine. But now, more democracy, more freedom, more people voting for their own destiny than ever before in the history of mankind. And in New York City, more prosperity than anyone has ever known as well as across this country. And tonight, they're all determined to celebrate that and the beginning of a new century. And down there in the middle of them all is NBC's Ann Curry. Ann?
Hey, Tom, you know what? The temperature is dropping, but the mood here is heating up. People are so excited. You can see just behind me, police are standing by just in case there is a surge of this crowd, because people are so excited now as we're now just counting down to when this Waterford ball is going to drop. You can also get a glimpse behind me of the garbage, the cleanup that's going to be ahead for somebody, a bunch of people certainly, after all this is over. The number of people crowded in here is just amazing, and people are so excited, as you can see. We're getting ready, Tom.
Thanks very much, Ann Curry. For a lot of people across the country who are always a little nervous about coming to New York, this is testimony to what a great city it is and what a good time you can have here. We want to remind all of you that we'll have continuing coverage. In just a few moments, you're going to be seeing your local news, or you'll be seeing a special edition of Dateline tonight. Then at 11:35 tonight, Jay Leno will be coming back from his Burbank studios with his special end of the century, beginning of the millennium monologue. And then at 11:50, Katie and I will be coming back to count down the final 10 minutes here in New York, in Times Square, the dropping of that ball, which will be the signal that the millennium has arrived in the Eastern time zone. There will also be celebrations we'll be showing you in Miami, in Boston as well, and then we'll be working our way across the country. We'll be going to Chicago, and we'll be staying on the air until we complete New Year's Eve in the Pacific time zone tonight as well. So let's go back down to Times Square now and show you once again the people who are assembled. That's where we're standing. Coca-Cola just above us, and by the way, at the turn of the century, that was the first time that Coca-Cola was bottled. Before that, it came out in fountains. You can only wonder what it's going to be like 100 years from now looking down on this scene, but for now, we'll anticipate the next 1 hour. We'll see you in about 45 minutes, everyone.
Live from the area's award-winning source for news, this is News Channel 6 at 10.
You are witnessing the first sunrise of a new year, the year 2000. From the shores of New Zealand's Chatham Islands, a bright reflection of a new year filled with new promise. And from Times Square in New York City, the countdown to 2000 is now measured in minutes. Tonight, we will be your tour guide through a day of celebrations as we await the magic moment of midnight. Good evening, everybody. I'm Amy Watson. Ron is back with me Monday. Well, the new year is almost a full day old in some parts of our world. By the time the clock strikes midnight here, it will have done so already in 17 other time zones. The dawning of the year 2000 began on tiny islands in the Pacific, and like it or not, it's moving this way. NBC's Chris Clackham has a wrap on all the celebrations so far.
The world first turned to 2000 in the Pacific in Kiribati on a tiny island renamed Millennium Island. An hour later, New Zealand's turn, and no hitches, no glitches, just jammed phone lines from everyone wanting to make a call at the stroke of midnight. The same in Sydney 2 hours later. 1 million Australians packed the shores of Sydney Harbor for the biggest party in the city's history. In Tokyo at midnight, the bell in a Buddhist temple rang out 108 times to absolve the 108 sins and desires Buddhists believe we all suffer from. At 10 seconds before midnight in Beijing, China's president flipped a switch to start the countdown and a fireworks display that lit the sky with the number 2000. In New Delhi, 2 reasons to celebrate. The new year begins with hijackers ending their 8-day standoff and releasing all of their mostly Indian hostages. In Moscow, it was midnight at 4 p.m. Eastern. And despite the resignation of their president, Russians partied in historic Red Square, now a symbol of the country's still newfound democracy. So far, so good for Y2K. Europe and America are hoping for the same. Chris Clackham, NBC News.
And one of the most unusual New Year's celebrations, a Navy submarine marked the year 2000, submerged 400 feet beneath the international date line in the Pacific Ocean. The USS Topeka was straddling the line, meaning that at the stroke of midnight, one end was in 2000, while the other was still in 1999. Well, it's about an hour or so until the new year, hour and 50 minutes or so, you say, until the new year here. And one of the largest New Year's Eve celebrations in our region is at the Executive Inn of Paducah, and that's where our Barrett Peterson is standing by live. And I know it's loud there, Barrett. Just want to ask you a quick question. Do some of those partiers believe it's going to be a night to remember?
Well, Amy, I don't know if they're going to remember all this come tomorrow, but they're sure having fun out here tonight. This is the showroom at the Big E. The Vandells are on stage here right now. And this is one New Year's Eve, let me tell you, nobody wants to miss. Paducah dances its way to Y2K. Since a New Year's Eve like this comes along just once every 1,000 years, these revelers believe it's important to get out here, toast the new century, and be a part of it.
I've been doing it for 24 years. Why change?
You're not about to miss this one, huh?
No, not at all.
Just had to be with my family and just be part of it.
Paducah's Executive Inn is home to one of the region's largest Y2K celebrations. Around 1,900 people are attending one of 3 huge parties here, and many made their New Year's Eve plans at the very last minute.
I think the Y2K issue had some people nervous, and they wanted to wait till the last minute and see what their plans were going to be.
Well, let's see, we got about an hour and 56 minutes to midnight. Amy, I hope the lights stay on. Happy New Year.
Thank you, Barrett. Happy New Year to you. From Party Central in Paducah, thanks. Well, in most of the world, it is already tomorrow, and it is a new year already to a roaring and largely trouble-free start. Thank goodness, so many are saying right now, especially here in the U.S. We're minutes away from the biggest Y2K test of readiness that there is. Jim Hanchett is tracking the developments at the government's command center in Washington.
So far, it is a night to remember for all the right reasons. Big bangs over Big Ben in London, in Paris, in Moscow, and a big bash at the White House. President Clinton greets a century's worth of luminaries, toasts their accomplishments, and what he calls the frontiers of possibility still to be explored.
Tonight, we rise to the mountaintop of a new millennium.
The celebration all the sweeter because so far there is no Y2 chaos.
Indications are that major national infrastructure systems in countries are functioning with minimal or no difficulties.
U.S. and Russian military officers are monitoring the world's deadliest weapons. All quiet. The nation's top aviation official is flying to prove it's safe. So far, it is, although many flights were canceled. The lights in Times Square and everywhere else are still on. No problems with the power supply. The demons of technology and terror still lurk, but from Pope John Paul tonight, wishes for a year filled with serenity and happiness. And for the first girl of the new year, born in New Zealand, there is every reason to believe that it just might be so. But if you think we can now put our Y2K worries to bed, not so fast. Here at the government's command center, they say plenty can still go wrong tonight and through the weekend. Jim Hanchett, NBC News, Washington.
And now credit card users are showing no fear when it comes to Y2K. MasterCard's Global Command Center in St. Louis is reporting that today's usage volume is up about 20% compared to last New Year's Eve. Now, before noon, MasterCard had processed nearly 6 million transactions already. The company reports that all systems are working properly all around the world. Well, the world's first baby, as you just saw in Jim Hanchett's story, has arrived in New Zealand. A baby boy was born at 1 minute after midnight in Auckland. The baby's parents have decided not to subject the little one to the media spotlight just yet, so we're showing you the first girl of the new millennium. She was just minutes behind the little boy. A 7-pound, 8-ounce baby girl arrived, oh, they say about 9 minutes later. In all, 6 babies were reportedly born within the first 20 minutes of the new year. Well, much more to come on News Channel 6 at 10. The latest on a bank robbery gone bad. It's now turned into a hostage situation. And later in sports, a look at all the last football games of the year.
We're there when stories shock you.
You know, help us put this guy out of business.
And make you angry.
Beer, loaded guns, and girls, all in the possession of the prisoners.
And we'll be there for you in 2000.
What this sounds like to me is an attempt to avoid responsibility.
The Nuclear Regulatory Committee also backed up the fact that the plant right now is safe.
News Channel 6, working to make a difference.
Throughout the 1900s, Ford made automotive history countless times. And to bring the 20th century to a close, we're doing it again. Presenting 20th century clearance from your Ford dealer, the biggest automotive sales event in history. Now get $1,500 cash back on Explorer. That's $1,500 cash back on the best-selling sport utility of the century. But a deal this good comes around once a century, so get to your local Ford dealer today. Because when 20th century clearance ends, it's history.
At McDonald's, we put extra zest into seasoning our biggest, beefiest burger. We go the extra mile with thick sliced tomato and fresh whole leaf lettuce. We even think big about exactly where to put the ketchup and mayo. Why? Because you have big expectations that can only be satisfied by the new Big Extra. Introducing the new Big Extra in an extra value meal with America's favorite fries and an ice cold Coke for just $2.99. Where? Did somebody say McDonald's?
Hi, I'm Bob Goodwin, wishing you all a safe and happy holiday season from all of us here at Lourdes. Last year, there were over 4,000 injuries and 205 fatalities on Kentucky highways in alcohol-related accidents. Remember, if you're going to celebrate, get a designated driver, because we want you to spend the holidays with your family, not with us. Think before you drink.
This message brought to you by your friends at Lourdes, who remind you to think before you drink.
A major figure from the Watergate investigation has died. Former Attorney General Elliot Richardson was the victim of a cerebral hemorrhage. The 73-year-old died today in a Boston hospital. Richardson resigned as Attorney General in 1973. Many said he resigned with dignity and integrity after he refused President Richard Nixon's orders to fire Watergate prosecutor Archibald Cox. Richardson also served as Secretary of Defense, Ambassador to Great Britain, and you may remember he also ran for the U.S. Senate from Massachusetts. In other news, breaking news tonight from a suburb of Kansas City, Missouri. Authorities in Olathe, Kansas are dealing with the hostage situation tonight. Now, these are exterior pictures of a Bank of America where police say 4 to 6 people may be held hostage. One hostage has been released. Police are now interviewing her. Reportedly, 2 armed women entered the bank, but no shots have been fired. Authorities are trying to negotiate with the women by phone as a SWAT team patrols outside the bank. Officials say the women had abruptly broken off talks at least once and had not made any demands. Well, time to turn to our New Year's Eve weather. Let's go now to Cal Sisto, and Happy New Year to you, Cal, and Happy New Year it looks weather-wise as well.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you too, Amy, and if you're outside at midnight tonight, it's looking great. We're going to have clear skies, temperatures in the 30s to low 40s. Not bad at all as we move into the first part of January, and I'll tell you about your New Year's Day forecast and the rest of the holiday weekend when we come back.
Biggest party I've ever hosted.
America's funniest game is back in Whoopi's Center Square.
I just love being the center of attention.
It's Hollywood Squares.
Be there or be square.
So meet me at the square.
Tell them Whoopi sent you.
Hollywood Squares, premiering Monday afternoon at 4 on News Channel 6.
People call it smart, thrilling, the place for values. Toyotathon 2000. The blockbuster event filled with great Toyota values. Your ride to the new millennium is here. Are you ready to go? Right now, you can lease a Corolla for $169 a month for 39 months with $1,564 due at signing and no security deposit. Get to Toyotathon 2000. Now playing exclusively at your Toyota dealer.
The new year is just over the hill and around the corner. Time is running out, but there's still a little left. So hurry in and save during the final days of the Chevy Make Your Money Count year-end event. It's your last chance to get huge cash back on these new Chevrolets. The cars and trucks you can depend on. Or low APR financing on Chevy Silverado, the truck. So come in now to the Chevy Make Your Money Count year-end event. Don't let your turn to win pass you by.
At McDonald's, we put extra zest into seasoning our biggest, beefiest burger. We go the extra mile with thick sliced tomato and fresh whole leaf lettuce. We even think big about exactly where to put the ketchup and mayo. Why? Because you have big expectations that can only be satisfied by the new Big Extra. Introducing the new Big Extra in an extra value meal with America's favorite fries and an ice cold Coke for just $2.99. Where? Did somebody say McDonald's?
You can reach MSNBC on the internet from the News Channel 6 homepage. Log on to WPSDTV.com and click on the MSNBC logo. Your weather authority, Cal Sisto, has been recognized with the American Meteorological Society's seal of approval.
Hi, everybody. Today, weather watchers seeing a mild end to the old year as temperatures reached well up into the 50s. Still cooler than yesterday, but well above normal. Our normal highs are in the low to mid 40s. Instead, we had a 55 at Carbondale, double nickels also at Marion, Cape Girardeau, from Lindsay Price at Barlow this afternoon, and Brent Calicut at Union City. So it all the way up to 57 degrees. Our current hour temperatures are quite a bit cooler now in the northern part of the News Channel 6 area. This hour down to 30 at Carbondale. Sudden cool down there at the airport. We showed you a downtown forecast for the festivities happening Carbondale at midnight tonight. A little bit warmer there. Cape Girardeau out at the airport all the way down to 31 now. It's still 39 at Poplar Bluff, 40 at Barkley Regional Airport in West Paducah, 43 at Hopkinsville, 47 at Nashville. Mild temperatures here. It's mild in New York City, too, for this time of the year. Here we are, live from Times Square. Of course, the huge crowd there, estimated at about 2 million people. Very well behaved so far. We've been giving you continuous coverage from NBC News, and that will continue again, of course, after this newscast. And they are less than 45 minutes away from the big crystal ball dropping and everybody going wild in New York City, kind of the real celebration, I guess, of the new millennium for the United States. Here at the Weather Center right now, we have under clear skies 41 degrees. Barometer's at 30.09 now. It's steady. The relative humidity at 70%. Winds are currently calm. And next rad tonight is quiet. Nothing to see in our scan all the way around the News Channel 6 region. Now, during the last month, there was some significant rain in parts of the News Channel 6 area. Cape Girardeau, according to Steve Pledger, 6 inches of rain in the past 31 days, 7.5 inches from the McElharneys at Eddyville, Illinois, and 7 inches from Ralph Stacey at Huntington, Tennessee. In between, some smaller amounts like the 3.8 from the Hilliards at Princeton, Kentucky. Kind of a split in the weather pattern, rain to the north and the south, a little bit less in the middle. Hopefully, some of the places that are still affected by the big drought that set in over the past several months, we'll see some more rain during the next month. But we're going to start 2000 out dry with the fair skies across the middle part of the country, a sign of things to come for tomorrow. High pressure is still in control of our weather, and that will be the case for at least the next 24 hours. Now, later tomorrow, we'll begin to see from this storminess building in the west, you see the low pressure systems here coming to the east behind the high as it moves out. We'll see more Gulf of Mexico moisture come in, some more clouds building in, and by late tomorrow night, early on Sunday, the chance of showers will arrive. No snow, no ice with these temperatures. Then as we get farther into next week, some of this cold air that's been hovering to the north will begin to descend in our direction. But not really tonight. Low temperatures averaging lower 30s in southern Illinois to the mid-30s in west Tennessee under clear skies, a light wind out of the northeast turning around to the east-southeast. For the New Year celebration, really, the 1st of January, hard to believe, with 60-degree temperatures all the way up into central Illinois. We'll be looking at a very mild Saturday afternoon, so get out and enjoy. I know you may want to watch some football, do things inside with the family, but you got to get out and enjoy some of this. 60s, even 68 at Fulton tomorrow afternoon, your hometown forecast. Mostly sunny skies. In southern Illinois, more clouds after early sunshine, but still, it will get into the 60s, 65 at Dongola, 66 at Cairo. Little breeze out of the southeast, turning around to the south across southeast Missouri tomorrow at 5 to 15, increasing a little in the afternoon as the clouds begin to come in, but it's still going to be very warm. Dexter, a high of 67. Again, normal highs in the 40s this time of the year, so we're talking about 25 degrees above normal. Kenton, Tennessee tomorrow afternoon, 69, and Ridgely up to 68 along the Mississippi River. Lots of sunshine with a few afternoon clouds. More clouds tomorrow night. That chance of showers on Sunday. Still mild. Early next week, the rain blows out and some cooler air comes in. But again, Amy, for this time of the year, nothing really cold.
And you said 68 possibly in Fulton, is that right?
Yeah.
That's unreal for this time of
year.
year.
New Year's Day.
Yeah, and Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Yeah,
You too.
I'm ready to celebrate.
And to the whole family.
Yeah, thank you. You too. Well, still ahead, a New Year's surprise in Russia as the country and world reacts and prepares for a new transition in leadership. The major indexes have pressed further into record territory as if to underscore another year of outstanding performance. The Dow 30, the S&P 500, and the NASDAQ Composite all set new records in an abbreviated session.
Greetings in the spirit of the season are extended to you from the friendly folks at Paducah Tent and Awning Company. They would also like to thank you and let you know your business is greatly appreciated. Season's greetings from Paducah Tent and Awning Company.
Christmas is that special time for family and friends. The folks at Buchanan's Floors and Walls in Eddyville would like to thank all of their friends for their loyal patronage. Happy holidays from Buchanan's, where we're out to get customers and keep them as friends.
The average smelly sock contains over 1 million odor-causing germs. Many can go on living even after you wash.
Industry leaders don't follow trends. They make their own. The 2000 Voyager, the result of 16 years of award-winning minivan innovations. But its most remarkable achievement? Voyager is America's lowest price minivan. Opportunities like this don't last long. See your Chrysler and Plymouth dealer today.
Save up to 70% store-wide now at Rogers during our incredible Millennium Countdown clearance sale. That's right. We need to make room for new Millennium merchandise. So for a very limited time, you'll save up to 70% of everything in the store. Get a free bracelet when you purchase this 18-inch herringbone chain, just $29. Stunning quarter-carat diamond solitaire earrings, just $49. This half-carat diamond fashion ring, just $129. Incredible. This Mystic Fire ring, just $29. Nobody beats Rogers prices.
In a televised address, Russian President Boris Yeltsin suddenly and unexpectedly resigned the presidency, saying the new century needed new leaders. He also apologized for failing to make good on all of his promises of prosperity. Yeltsin's heir apparent, Prime Minister Vladimir Putin, became acting president and keeper of the nuclear briefcase, the launch codes that follow every Russian leader wherever he goes. Now, among Minister Putin's first official acts was a decree granting Yeltsin a pension, a country home, and full immunity from any prosecution. For his part, President Clinton congratulated Mr. Putin, and he saluted the legacy of Boris Yeltsin. Andrea Koppel has more.
Yeltsin's surprise New Year's Eve resignation ends a relationship with President Clinton at a time of tension between Washington and Moscow over the war in Chechnya. Nevertheless, President Clinton paid tribute to what he called Yeltsin's historic tenure.
Under his leadership since 1991, the Russian people have faced the unprecedented challenge of building a new democracy and a new life after decades of corrosive communist rule.
U.S. officials view what appears to be the beginning of a smooth transition from Yeltsin to his chosen successor, Vladimir Putin, as proof of Yeltsin's commitment to building democracy in Russia. Before being unexpectedly appointed prime minister last August, Putin was Yeltsin's national security advisor, and before that, head of Russia's intelligence agency. Now, news of his latest promotion has U.S. officials anxiously poring over his most recent public statements to figure out what kind of president he'll make if he's elected to a full term 3 months from now.
He gives the impression of somebody who is a very hard worker, who understands all the things that need to be done with Russia, and a kind of a can-do person.
Will he be the Napoleon of the Russian Revolution and end democracy, or will he be the young liberal reformer that his handlers want us to believe? It's a giant unknown question.
Well, so far, U.S. officials have been encouraged by Putin's statements pushing the Russian parliament to ratify the START II nuclear missile reduction treaty, but they continue to be disturbed by the uncompromising approach towards winning the war in Chechnya at all costs. Well, time is ticking down. New Year's Eve parties are in full swing at this hour. Hope you're enjoying yourself. One of the biggest celebrations in the world, Times Square. This is another live picture. We'll check it back in live for sort of an extended look right after sports. Chad Darnell is in for Dave Weiner. He joins us now with sports and a great time of the year for football fans.
Yeah, if you're a football fan, there's more games than you probably watch right now. Bowl games being played everywhere. For today, we'll tell you how they went later on after the break. But first, as we go to the break, here are the scheduled times for the games being played this weekend.
The employees of Wilson Office Supply in Paducah and Benton extend to you and yours the warmth and comfort which come from the true spirit of the holiday season. May the new year bring you joy and prosperity. Happy holidays from the employees of Wilson Office Supply.
Famous Bar's 24-hour sale is Saturday and Sunday with New Year's preview sales going on now.
This is where it all starts. This is where it gets good.
Hi. I'm Dr. Bradford Mutchler, wishing you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from everyone here at Lourdes. We want your holiday to be a healthy, happy, and safe one. And we want you to spend it with your family. That's why Lourdes is reminding you not to drink and drive. And if you do decide to drink, make sure you have a designated driver. Remember, think before you drink.
This message brought to you by your friends at Lourdes, who remind you to think before you drink.
Years of technological achievements have made us what we are today. Jeep is the most award-winning brand of 4x4s of this millennium. So we're celebrating the next millennium with the Jeep Year-End Awards event, featuring a low $279 a month lease on Cherokee Sport, with features like air and power locks at no extra charge. And be sure to check out the fun-loving Jeep Wrangler. So get to the Jeep Year-End Awards event and see where a little recognition can take you. Check one out at your Jeep dealer.
It's red hot at Tommy Blair's Courtesy Autoplex. It's our buyer's choice blowout sale on new Pontiacs and GMC trucks. Get huge year-end savings on hundreds of vehicles. Get a 2000 Sunfire Coupe for $254 a month. A 2000 GMC Sonoma, $275 a month. A 2000 Grand Prix, $389 a month. Or a 2000 GMC Chevy, just $394 a month. It's our buyer's choice blowout sale on new Pontiacs and GMC trucks while they last. At Tommy Blair's Courtesy Autoplex next to Walmart Supercenter of Paducah Southside.
Everyone, welcome back for sports. We all know tomorrow is the first day of Y2K, but it's also one of the biggest days for college football. 6 bowl games will be played to help bring in the new year, and today, the last 4 college football games of the century were played out. And we start with Colorado and Boston College in the Insight.com Bowl. Cortland Johnson gets the Buffs going early with the 10-yard touchdown. 7-0 CU. Johnson finished the day with a career-best 201 yards and 2 TDs. Colorado was just too good on every aspect of the game. Here, Ben Kelly returns the punt, 88 yards for the touchdown, and the Buffs upset number 25 BC, 62-28. That's CU's 6th consecutive postseason victory.
What a performance on...
Now to the Liberty Bowl in Memphis, Tennessee. Southern Mississippi taking on Colorado State. Second quarter, Southern up 13-10. Matt Newton scrambles and finds Corey Wolstenham. A 38-yard TD reception, 17-13 Rams. Late second quarter, 4th and goal. Derek Nix powers his way in for the touchdown, 20-17 Southern, and they hang on to win. 23-17, Southern Mississippi scored 10 points off of 3 Colorado State turnovers. Now to the Sun Bowl. Oregon taking on Minnesota. The Gophers scored first, but they could not hang on in the final minutes of the game as Oregon pulls off the upset, 24-20. One game still being played, a matchup of the SEC and Big 12. Mississippi is up on Oklahoma, 21-18, and that's in the 4th quarter. The SIU Salukis ended the century with a win last night over UT Martin. The Dogs are now 6-5, and they will host Southeast Missouri State Sunday in Carbondale. The loss for UT Martin was their 9th. The Skyhawks have battled a tough non-conference schedule throughout the first part of the season. Monday, UT Martin is home for the first time in over a month when they host Butler. Murray State is back at home from El Paso, Texas, where they played in the Sun Bowl Classic. The Racers came away from that tournament with 1 win and 1 loss. MSU now has a few days off to rest before they go back on the road to play Purdue on Monday. This will be a tough game for MSU. Purdue plays in the tough Big Ten Conference. The Boilermakers are 8-4 with one of those wins over number 6 Florida.
They're going to have lots of pressure. They play really tough defense. If you can stand that defensive pressure, and if you can survive that and go in there, you have a chance. They're not an overly powered team in terms of size, but they are a very, very fine team. They play hard defensively, and they are a very, very tough team to play at home.
Now taking a look at scores from high school hoops, Murray High wins the Lady Tiger Comet Classic 53-52 over Christian County. Whitney Ray had 16, including the game-winning basket. Lindsey Lawson led the Tigers with 19. And in the consolation game, Dawson Springs beats Lyon County 45-41. And Amy, one note from the NHL, Dallas Stars right wing Brett Hull has just scored his 600th goal. He's only the 12th player to accomplish this milestone.
Yeah, big hockey news.
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much, Chad. Well, when we come back, we'll party in New York. We'll look live in on Times Square as we're counting down to the new century. Here's a look at tonight's winning lottery numbers from Kentucky and Illinois evening drawings.
What's the best way to step into the year 2000? On flooring from Stone Mountain's Carpet Mill Outlet with New Year's savings. We're celebrating the new millennium with 20 to 70% savings off traditional retail flooring prices, plus no payments and no interest until 2001. So step into the new millennium on beautiful new flooring and pay nothing until 2001 at Stone Mountain's Carpet Mill Outlet, where America saves on flooring on Husband Road in Paducah and Seamers in Cape Girardeau.
The staff and management of Robert Alexander Real Estate and Auction Company would like to wish you and your family a very happy and prosperous new year. We'd like to thank you, our friends, for your patronage during 1999. And from our family to yours, welcome to the new millennium.
Everything is processed here locally. We manage our own information. If you need a copy of a check, we can get it for you in just a matter of minutes. It's nice every once in a while to dial a number and get a real person on the other end.
Ron's Septic Tank and Drain Service would like to wish all of our customers a Merry Christmas. If it's septic tank or any kind of drain problem, call the man who for 20 years has had the men and equipment to do the job. At Ron's, we're #1 in the #2 business.
Well, as we close tonight, just about a half hour from the new year in New York City, we want to take you live back to Times Square. The famous New Year's Eve ball, remade in crystal just for this occasion, is not long for dropping. Patience is not even a question here in Times Square. Some partygoers have been here all night, many coming as early as 7 a.m. this morning. They estimate some 2 million people there. Officials, of course, want this to be a memorable, I can't say it, memorable, but for the right reasons. 8,000 cops on patrol in Times Square alone tonight. Security there is tight, and look at the crowds. What a celebration, a wild party in New York tonight. And I hope that it continues to stay that way, safe and free from any type of trouble. Want to ask you guys quickly, any New Year's resolutions before we end tonight?
Just continuously more accurate forecasts, you know, that's what I'm after all the time, Amy.
Yeah, anything personal you want to?
No, not really.
I always have a bunch of them.
I don't make personal resolutions.
No?
They're not worth a darn.
Okay, anything? No? Oh my gosh. Here's my list right here. It's about this long. About this long. Quickly looking at weather. Nice as we welcome in the new year.
Okay, that's right. My last forecast of this millennium, and we'll try the new one. 30s tonight and high temperatures tomorrow. Unbelievable. We'll be well up in the 60s. Some places will try to push towards 70 maybe in the south part of our area if we hold on to enough sunshine. Some rain on Sunday, but still on the mild side, Amy.
This is our last show of the year. It's hard to believe. Wow. From all of us here at News Channel 6, we wish you a very safe and happy new year.
Some things have a way of changing your whole outlook. The Chrysler year-end event could be what does it for you. Because now, depending on the Chrysler you select, you can get a low lease, or cash allowance, or an attractive finance rate. So get to the Chrysler year-end event and see what a profound influence it can have on you.
Stand out from the rest with a dress from Ziobro's Weddings and Formal Wear in Princeton, Kentucky. At Ziobro's, your wedding, prom, pageant, and party headquarters will help you find that perfect dress for that special occasion. We're celebrating our 10th anniversary, and we're looking forward to serving you for years to come. With friendly professional service, terrific selection, and low prices, you'll be treated like family at Ziobro's Weddings and Formal Wear, Princeton, Kentucky. Call 270-365-0145.
News Channel 6 Saturday, tomorrow morning.
Live from the NBC studios in Burbank, it's a special Tonight Show with Jay Leno. And we're counting down to the year 2000. And now, Jay Leno.
show? Nice to have you. You know, I haven't seen the news. Did the world end yet? What happened?
It did. Not yet.
Well, folks, in exactly 25 minutes from now, that $4,000 Dell computer you got for Christmas officially becomes a paperweight, okay? Enjoy it. Play with the box. Oh, I did it later. When the balloons drop down, they can be used as condoms. Did we tell people all the balloons can be used as condoms?
Good to know.
And boy, there are these big Millennium celebrations all around the world tonight. Of course, in Times Square at midnight, the ball will drop. We have a similar thing here in L.A. At exactly midnight, Andy Dick will drive a Buick into a light pole. So how about that? Yeah, pretty much. That'll be exciting. And there's a big Millennium party over at Hugh Hefner's Playboy Mansion tonight.
Really?
Yeah, it's a Y2K jelly party. Yeah, you don't want to miss that. Yeah, Y2K jelly party. Yeah. And, of course, our old buddy Dick Clark ringing in the new year over at ABC. You know something? I like Dick. You know, he's a good friend of ours. But I never thought he was right for that, you know? I mean, shouldn't we have someone ringing in the new year who looks different as the years pass? You know, get somebody like Keith Richards, then you know, oh, my God, 1,000 years has passed. Oh, my God, what a rough 1,000 years. And how about this? In a move that shocked the world today, Boris Yeltsin resigned as Russia's president. But the good news for his support, you know, he'll show up at work tomorrow. You won't know what happened. What the hell are you talking about? What? What are you talking about? I guess he had a rough night last night, deciding whether to resign or not. We have footage of him arriving this morning to turn over power to the prime minister. He looked unsteady. Show that footage, right? This is right off the news today. Here he is pulling up in the limo. Ellen, can we show the car? Can we show the inside? Can you turn the camera? Look at that. Oh, my God. That rough night. Rough night for the Boris man. Yeah, rough night. Rough night for Boris. And President Clinton said he was sorry to see Yeltsin go. And George Bush said he was even sorry. Bush said, I know the names of 2 world leaders. Now one is leaving. What am I going to do now? And I thought this was very nice. Did you see President Clinton on the news earlier tonight? He promised Hillary that he would remain faithful to her till the end of the millennium. Beautiful, beautiful. Lovely. You know, that's the other big story this year. Of course, Bill and Hillary staying together. People say, oh, they're going to split up. But see, they have kind of a secret, or she has a secret. It's interesting. People don't really notice why they're together. Show that tape from earlier this week. This is kind of interesting. Here they are coming off the plane. Ellen, go in close. I think you'll see the secret to their relationship. They see pretty much, there you see, yeah, it's kind of a, yeah. So apparently he doesn't get far. He doesn't get far. Yeah. And, an embarrassing incident tonight with Monica Lewinsky. Did you hear about this? No, I guess she was at some kind of party in New York, blew into a party favor. It landed in Iraq. What are the odds of that? That's a pair of lungs.
That's a big favor.
That's a big favor. Well, that's another big story. You know, Monica Lewinsky, you all know about this. She's doing these commercials for Jenny Craig. And the first commercial airing this Sunday right here on NBC. And you know why she decided to lose weight? This was interesting. You remember, I guess she went to one of the Oscar parties last year. That's when she started on the Jenny Craig. And I guess something happened at that party that made her realize, you know, I've got to take care of my... Show that footage. Here, take a look. You see what I'm talking about. That's from the Oscars. See, she looks a little heavy there, okay? Now watch. Now, again, you be the judge. Here she is getting in the car. Now, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's... Yeah, you'll see, yeah, just... And that's when you know, maybe you want to... Take it easy. Take it easy. Are you still worried about Y2K? Yeah, it all looks like nothing. You know, I'm watching the news tonight, and this is true. I guess authorities at the Denver International Airport tonight were handing out flashlights to anyone coming into the airport. That'll calm people's nerves. Why don't you just give them a parachute when they get to the gate? Here, just in case there's a problem, go ahead. Just, here's your flashlight and your parachute. Goodbye, have a nice trip. Oh, and a reminder. Oh, my God, this is something the mayor has asked me to remind people. Please do not fire your gun into the air at midnight, because there's a good chance Puff Daddy could return fire. So please, do not fire your gun into the air. Whatever you do, don't go shoot. Oh, man, that's the big story this week, this altercation that Puff Daddy got in. You know about this, right? He was in a nightclub. And allegedly, according to the papers, what happened was, Puff Daddy's in this nightclub, and allegedly somebody threw a pile of money at Puff Daddy, and then he pulled a gun on the guy. The guy throws money, and then he pulls the gun. Right. Police think this could be the first dyslexic robbery in New York history. It could be the first dyslexic robbery in New York history. The first time, yeah. It's never happened before. And I guess Florida State getting ready for the big Sugar Bowl. Wasn't that the 4th? That's the 4th? I guess they're not going to have the whole team with them. The whole team's not going to go because, you know, a lot of their players aren't allowed to cross state lines, you know, because they... Hey, anybody go on the Rose Parade tomorrow? You know, do that? Yeah, that'd be great. Hit the tip again. I don't want to ruin anybody's fun, but it's always better to be safe than sorry. Organizers say if you're out at the Rose Parade, stay at least 500 yards away from the Islamic Jihad float, okay? Just keep, no, please, just in case. Just keep your distance. Say, oh, no, back away, back away. Be careful. Just, again, I don't want to, just a little safety tip. And I was watching the news earlier today, and God, they interviewed this guy. They had one of these kind of paranoid guys, and this guy took all his money out of the bank. He bought like a ton of canned food. He went into the woods. He's staying in a shack for 6 months. You know who it was? Mayor of Seattle. Yeah, Mayor of Seattle. I feel sorry for the folks in Seattle because of what happened. Our Seattle affiliate, I guess. Ellen, cut to the Seattle affiliate. See how their New Year's is going up. Oh, yeah, there it is. Yeah, not a whole lot happening. Yeah, not a whole lot going on. Yeah. Yeah, kind of sad. Kind of sad. I guess you all heard about that. Seattle canceled the whole New Year's Eve celebration of the Space Needle, canceled the whole thing. So, of course, today, Seattle Airport filled with terrorists who had to make last-minute plans. You know, where are we going to go now? Oh, my gosh, the thing was canceled. You know, your backup flight, you've got to go somewhere else. You got to get a hotel. Well, you got to admit, this terrorism thing is kind of frightening. Like, there was a news report that this guy, Osman bin Laden... Kev, you haven't been Laden in how long? Probably not, but I don't know, right? No, I'm sorry. Oh, that was... You know that guy? You kind of snuck that one right in. No. What do you think I said? Oh, I'm sorry. No, there's Osman... not Osman. He's not one of the Osmans. It's Donnie. It's Donnie Osman bin Laden. Osman, whatever. Bin Laden, whatever his name is. Anyway, they say he has dispatched teams of terrorists to destinations all around the world to try and disrupt, you know, the New Year's Eve celebration. I was thinking about that. You know, say what you want about being a terrorist, but at least they get to travel. You know, they see different parts of the world. You get to go to a lot of celebrations and parties. You know, so it opens you up a little bit. I think you grow as a person. Now, here's an interesting tip. Listen to this. According to Men's Health magazine, before you drink tonight, if you're going to drink heavy, eat a lot of bread and a lot of pasta. Because they say bread and pasta slows alcohol absorption and reduces hangover. The bad news, now you're drunk who's big and fat. Other than that. That's not good. That's not good. You don't want that. Now, here's something. I don't know if they have it this year, but the past 2 years, Taco Bell has a New Year's special. Do you know about this? You buy 2 burritos. 2 burritos? You buy 2 burritos, they give you a free noisemaker, which... I mean, it seems to me... Seems to me you're pretty much already there, aren't you? Yeah. Hey, here's some happy news. Now, this is good news. Thank God for this. The hijacking of that Air India flight ended today peacefully. I guess after 8 days, these people were stranded. These poor people stuck on a plane, held for 8 days right there at the airport. In fact, you know what they call it here when that happens? Northwest, okay? Oh, now here you go. Here you go. I learned. Kev, I learned a valuable lesson today. A valuable lesson. Never try and put a Christmas tree down the garbage disposal. 4 hours. Oh, man. Didn't work, huh? No. Oh, kind of embarrassing thing last night. I'm watching TV, and I thought I was watching one of those blooper specials. Yeah, with Clippers highlights. Yeah, that's what it was. Oh, let's see, what else before? Are we winding up? Oh, we have to move quickly. We have to move quickly. All right. Well, now here's something interesting. I was reading the tabloids, and they were talking about some of the new medical technology that you're going to see in the new millennium. This is interesting. I didn't even understand how this works. Doctors say, as an alternative to the silicone and the saline breast implants, they now fill breast implants with liquid soap. Have you heard this? Because it's safer, liquid soap. In fact, some women have gotten it done already.
Really?
In fact, I saw someone talking about it. We'll show that footage on the news that was on earlier. When we come back, we'll start the party, we'll go to Times Square, we'll drop the ball, we'll check in with Bob Roca. Don't go away!
As America's first choice in beer during the past century, Budweiser invites you to ring in the new millennium with the clean, crisp taste you've always enjoyed. We raise a toast to the new millennium. Tonight, as always, this Bud's for you.
Presenting the first ever full-length animated motion picture, exclusively in IMAX theaters. Walt Disney Pictures' Fantasia 2000, the IMAX experience. 7 all-new journeys into the imagination, along with a classic favorite in a motion picture unlike any other. Walt Disney Pictures' Fantasia 2000, the IMAX experience. Rated G, coming January 1st to selected IMAX theaters worldwide.
Who wants to win $1 million when you can win big money? 21 is coming Sunday, January 9th at 8, 7 Central on NBC.
Thank you. No, please. Let me. There you go. You're certainly on your way, son.
We have activity.
Verify account status.
His last payment was a half-day late.
Raise his rate.
Initiating interest rate increase, sir.
If you're late with a payment, some credit cards are happy to automatically raise your interest rates. But a Discover card? No, we don't do that. Remember, there's always something more to discover.
You've got plenty of good reasons to clean and disinfect your home. But if you're cleaning with the leading lemon cleaner, there are even more reasons to switch to Mr. Clean. He not only gives you the muscle to outclean the leading cleaner on tough jobs, but he also guarantees to kill household germs. They don't. Just check the label.
For a better cleaner, reach for Mr. Clean. The big guy cleans and disinfects, so put him on your team.
Nothing outcleans Mr. Clean. There's just no reason to use anything else.
You can count on Martha Stewart for the best ideas in cooking.
I call it the perfect pie crust.
Gardening.
And then put your label somewhere where you're going to be able to read it.
Decorating.
Sometimes it seems that you can never find the perfect lampshade for that odd lamp around the house.
Please join us for Martha Stewart Living.
It's a very good thing. Martha Stewart Living, Sunday night at 10:30 on News Channel 6.
It's red hot at Tommy Blair's Courtesy Autoplex. It's our Buyer's Choice Blowout Sale. A new Mazda cars and trucks. Buy right now and make no payments for 120 days. Get a 2000 B2500 pickup, just $10,913. A 99 Mazda Protege, just $12,187. Or a 99 Mazda 626, now just $15,203. And interest rates as low as 0%. Buy now, make no payments for 120 days. It's our Buyer's Choice Blowout Sale on new Mazdas while they last at Tommy Blair's Courtesy Autoplex next to Walmart Supercenter on Paducah's South Side.
It's Woodstock 2000. That's what this feels like.
Right.
Like the whole world is like Woodstock. But you know, there wasn't one incident anywhere, allegedly.
Really?
Maybe I'm being naive, but when I've had news on nothing, everything went well.
Cool.
So I want to just take a second to wish all of you a wonderful, happy New Year. It's so, I mean, we had all this Y2K, whatever it was, and nothing happened. So it's just wonderful. One day, everybody kind of gets together and has a good in with them. Yes, it's Woodstock 2000. That's what this feels like.
Right.
Like the whole world is like Woodstock. But you know, there wasn't one incident anywhere, allegedly.
Really?
Maybe I'm being naive, but when I've had news on nothing, everything went
Very
well.
cool.
So I want to just take a second to wish all of you a wonderful, happy New Year. It's so, I mean, we had all this YK, whatever it was, and nothing happened. So it's just wonderful. One day, everybody kind of gets together and has a good time and gets drunk and vomits on their shoes. So thank you. God bless you all. We're going to go now to Tom Brokaw and Katie Couric, check in with them, and then come back here for New Year's, and I'll kiss my wife, and we'll just have some champagne. We'll have fun. Katie, Tom?
Hey.
Yes, Jay.
Tom.
Hi, you guys.
Happy New Year.
Jay.
Tom, happy New Year. Katie, you too.
Happy New
Thank
Year.
you,
I don't know
Jay.
whether you've heard, Jay, or not, but GE just informed us they've developed a Y2K problem. If we don't do this right, our checks don't clear. So we've got to get on with the show here.
Really? There you go.
All right. Well, have a great party there in Burbank. We're going to get the New Year started here in New York, Jay. We'll be working our way to the West
Burbank.
Coast.
Why would you go to Times Square when you have Burbank?
Next year we'll have to go to Burbank.
We're going to send them all out there. Well, here, Katie, even the mayor was impressed when he came up. We ought to turn around and just take a look and not just be reporters tonight, but savor the moment. This doesn't happen but once every 2,000 years or so, and you're in the middle of all the action. More than 1 million people down there, the dawning of a new age, a new 1,000 years, a new century, a new year. And we'll remember this night for a long time.
And I have to say, Tom, you get such a different perspective on the roof of the Renaissance Hotel than you do when you're basically at the same level of the crowd. It's just amazing. It's just wall-to-wall people, a sea of humanity. But one good thing about tonight is, as Jay mentioned, there have been very few, if any, incidents to speak of. So it sort of restores your faith in human nature.
Well, the other thing is, I think that the people are trying to tell us something. Everyone is talking about this being a jaded and cynical age of excess materialism, but they want to have a good time, and they want to be together. And people were turning down the big high-ticket items. They were determined to come here and celebrate together and behave. So I think there is something going on here that the politicians and those of us in the media will have to pay attention to as well.
And it's a lot of fun here, but certainly not particularly glamorous given the circumstances. As we know, Tom, and as we've mentioned throughout the evening, many people got here as early as 5 a.m. this morning to stake out positions so they could watch this Waterford crystal ball drop. Oh, hello. That's a little early, New Year's kiss.
We hope they knew each other before 5 this morning.
I hope so. You never know. Although a lot of people are making new friends down there. They're in these pen areas, and
but once they make friends, they have nowhere to go.
Well, they've had not a lot to do other than to talk to their neighbors in these various sections. It's about 37 degrees, I understand. I told you earlier, Tom, that it was quite comfortable. I take that back. It's gotten downright chilly now. The wind's picked up. And there's Mayor Giuliani.
This is a big moment for the mayor, not just because it's gone well, but obviously it's important to the city of New York. They've spent a lot of money. They've spent 5 years getting ready for it. He has big political plans for the next year in his widely publicized race against Hillary Clinton for the United States Senate. So it was important for him, for all of this to go well, and so far it appears that it's going very well for him.
Well, this means great PR, obviously, for the city of New York. It could have meant disaster if things had gone awry. So there was a lot at stake here, not only for Mayor Giuliani, but for the entire city as well.
Well, New York is enjoying the greatest wave of prosperity any city has ever known because of what's going on in Wall Street, and that has a real trickle-down effect and ripple effect across this city. Times Square has been virtually rebuilt in the last 10 years or so with all the new theaters and the hotels. We're standing here at the Renaissance Hotel, which is a part of that. And so people will see this, and I think that they'll feel a lot better about coming to New York. And when they do, folks, bring lots of money because it still ain't cheap.
We're about 5 minutes until that crystal ball drops. Dr. Amy Hopkins pushes the button. I don't know if you heard her speak earlier, Tom. She's a surgeon with an organization called Doctors Without Borders. Every year for the last 4 years, a special citizen, or a hero, if you will, has been selected to do the honors, and she was a tad
Nobel
nervous.
Peace Prize this year.
That's right.
And I've seen them in action around the world. And it really is a remarkable group. It began in France. They have a lot of American doctors who volunteer. They go into the hellholes of the world, and under fire and in the worst conditions, they save lives. And so that, too, is just the right way to end the 20th century, which has been through so much turmoil and so much pain. But still, it's a time of great triumph when you think about the space age, all the advances that we're making in medicine, the distribution of prosperity around the world, which is getting greater, needs to be even more than it is. Thanks, Mom. I'm out here with my sinuses going in the cold, and Katie's taking care of me, making sure that I don't...
I'm handing him tissues. We're about 4 minutes until the ball drops, and it's been so much fun, Tom, to watch all day long as every time zone has celebrated the beginning of the new millennium, of course, starting early this morning with New Zealand, followed by Sydney, Australia, among others, Tokyo, Hong Kong, Russia. It was so fun to see them celebrate and usher in the new millennium in Red Square. And, of course, later on, Paris and London.
There'll be a lot of folks saying tomorrow, well, my city was better than your city. And people in Paris and London will be claiming probably the title, although I thought that Sydney certainly was a contender. The Olympics will be there next fall. And New York is yet to have its moment. It's a big deal in Washington, D.C. tonight as well. They're going to, we hope that they don't burn down the Washington Monument. They're going to send fireworks all the way over to the base of it. So there are a lot of spectaculars yet to come. There is Washington, D.C. South Beach in Florida has got a big show planned for tonight, and Copley Square in Boston. We've got a lot that we'll be showing you. We'll also be hearing right after midnight from Sting. He's going to have a song for a new day.
That's a new song he's written called Brand New Day, and obviously very appropriate for this occasion. There's that crystal ball with how many panels? Over 500 panels of Waterford crystal. And presiding over it all, once again, Mayor Rudy Giuliani. Boy, they look wide awake. We're approaching 2 minutes.
You think anyone is turning to their partner and saying, you know, we've been here long enough, let's go home? 2 minutes to go? Probably not.
Of course, as we've been mentioning, Tom, throughout the day, the folks gathered here at Times Square, they've been doing countdowns as various countries, various cities across the world commemorate this important moment. But obviously, we're just less than 2 minutes away from the countdown that for these people really counts.
Well, there are a lot of people in different places, and I have friends that are on a cold cabin on a cold stream up in Montana. Other people have black tie dinners, obviously. Lots of families are simply being reflective. Other families that are having progressive dinners, they're in their neighborhood going to one place for an appetizer, another place for an entree, another place for dessert, all getting together. Lots of ways to celebrate this new year, and of course, I think it is something that everyone will remember. Where were you when not just the century turned, but when the millennium ended? Katie, we've got 1:10 to go. Let's let the television cameras and Guy Pepper and his crew perform their magic.
together. You could be walking down the street, you shook your chest to me, but that same old smile you've been thinking of all day, yeah. But though we turn the clock to zero, honey, I'll never stop a spending money. We're starting off a brand new day. Turn the clock on the way back, I'm begging her to take me back out. I'm thinking in a brand new way. Turn the clock to zero, sister, you'll never know how much I missed you. I'm starting up a brand new day. Turn the clock to zero, boss, the river's wide, we'll swim across me. I'm starting up a brand new day. If it happens to you, like it happens to me, there's simply no immunity, there's no guarantee. I think love is such a force that you shall find yourself in a day. You need some time for reflection, baby, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. I said wait a minute, wait a minute. Turn the clock to zero, honey, I'll never stop to spend the money. We're starting off a brand new day. Turn the clock on the way back, I'm begging her to take me back. I'm thinking in
symbols of this immigrant nation are in play here tonight. The Statue of Liberty, place that welcomes so many people to these shores. The melting pot that you see here in Times Square. The celebration, all the symbols of prosperity in America, and then an expat, in effect, somebody from Great Britain who's singing A Brand New Day, Sting. So we really do have the melding of all the cultures of America in Times Square, the beginning of a new millennium.
And for all these people who had been waiting hours and hours and hours, this was quite a show. And that was quite a show. Hello.
Well, I would think that they have that coming after all the hours that they've been out there waiting. And that's going on across the country. And, of course, this is just the Eastern time zone. Worth reminding everyone that we still have Central, Mountain, and Pacific to get to before we can say truly in this country that we have entered the new century in the United States. But this is the kickoff. It is the granddaddy, and it certainly has lived up to that reputation.
That's right. Right now, all eyes are on the Big Apple, although Washington, D.C. had quite a huge celebration of fireworks as well. But I think really none compares to Sydney, Australia. 200,000 rockets fired at 8 o'clock this morning. Now you're looking at a shot of Miami, and those fireworks look pretty spectacular, too. I wonder how much money was spent in all on pyrotechnics this
Well, the mayor just talked about how much they spent on police, with millions and millions of dollars of police work, but he said they'll get it all back in additional business. And I think that there is this big competition among the urban areas now. Miami is obviously the capital of the northern part of the southern hemisphere. It is a big destination for people from South America. It is one of the most cosmopolitan cities in the world between north and south. New York is the capital of the world these days with all that's going on here. Washington, D.C., the capital of this country, had its own celebration tonight, led by President and Mrs. Clinton at the mall at Lincoln Memorial. Boston, which is the old city in this country where the Pilgrims first arrived, they were celebrating. They're celebrating in Philadelphia. As we work our way across the country, you'll be seeing similar scenes on the Navy Pier in Chicago. In Los Angeles, they're lighting up the Hollywood sign. One of my favorite stories of the night so far, by the way, is in Berlin. Twins were born, one in one millennium, another in another millennium. They're millennia generations apart.
That's funny.
On either side of midnight.
And, of course, babies all across the country will be celebrated. The first baby to born after the New Year.
What's going on in hospitals here in New York right now, don't you? I mean, in the labor room, husbands are saying, push, we still got a shot.
I think we actually interviewed someone on the Today Show who got pregnant and timed it so she could give birth to the first baby of the new millennium. Whether she has success or not remains to be seen, but that's called very careful family planning.
In the Silicon Valley, in one of the hospitals, they've developed a small portfolio, very small, 1 share of Yahoo stock and 5 shares of Silicon Graphics. It's worth about $500. Today, next week, it may be worth $500,000, who knows. But that's a new wrinkle in parents who deliver the first child in the new year. Now, the practical side of me wonders, Katie, how long is it going to take all these people to leave here?
And the other question is, how long will they want to stay for? The police commissioner was, needless to say, very pleased, Howard Safer, but the night is still young, and it will take a while for the crowd to disperse. And many people may stick around Times Square for several hours, and even more merrymaking.
Since it's been alcohol-free all day long, some of them may want, at this point, to go have a cocktail.
And I think they should.
There's a small chance.
If they want to.
If they want to.
But they shouldn't drive.
Now, I'll bet your New Year's and growing up in Virginia were just about like this, weren't they?
Oh, yeah, exactly. Actually, we used to eat peanuts in our living room and watch Guy Lombardo. That was our idea of excitement. There we've got a shot of Boston. The fireworks still going on. People are sort of milling about a little bit more, kind of leaving their pens and heading elsewhere.
Yeah, it's the bottom of the ninth, and a home team hit a home run to win the game, and so it's been a great experience. But a lot of people are saying maybe if I can get to the parking lot earlier than everybody else.
People have to start getting accustomed to writing 2000 on their checks, and now the Roman numerals have changed. They're MM for the new millennium. About 100 years ago, this nation was enjoying great prosperity as well. And as you mentioned earlier today, Tom, when we were talking, people were very excited to see things ushered in like the automobile and electricity. President McKinley was in office, and really there were a lot of good times going on.
And no one, even 20 years ago, anticipated the internet. Think about how the pace of change now.
And the level of economic prosperity, perhaps, as well.
And we hope that more people will have even more opportunities, of course, in the 21st century to cash in on some of that prosperity. That's one of the real challenges before the country. Almost anything is possible these days. We'll be continuing to watch all of this. We'll have continuing coverage of Millennium 2000 here to Times Square, the Renaissance Hotel. Katie Couric and Tom Brokaw back in a moment.
Endurance, copy? Endurance, lead us into the new millennium, Endurance. Endurance, what have you done?
The champagne was not Corbel.
Corbel, official champagne of the Millennium Celebration.
Gene Shalit of the Today Show raves. Once in a while, a film comes along that makes going to the movies a joy. The Cider House Rules is one of those movies.
I was wondering if you could give me a ride.
It's just plain wonderful. I reveled in every minute of this movie. See the film that America's top critics are hailing as one of the best films of this or any year. The Cider House Rules, rated PG-13. Now playing in theaters everywhere.
Oh, Mom, it's great. My first apartment. You should see it. It's huge.
When you've got things to talk about, it's a good idea to dial 10-10-321 first.
And I got a great view of the river.
With 10-10-321, you get 50% off calls over 10 minutes. That's just 8 cents a minute, day or night, and no monthly fees. And at 50% off, you can share every last detail.
And I even have a garden.
Talk as long as you want with 10-10-321.
Hello? What? Are you sure? Okay, we'll be right there.
What is it?
Minnie Blackwell's having a party.
Let's roll.
Looking for a good time? The Civic from Honda.
Once in a while, a car comes along that's really worth pursuing. A car with features like an automatic transmission, alloy wheels, ABS, a security system, and more, all offered at a price that has proven to be very elusive. Of course, you have to see such a car. To not would be criminal. The Special Edition Accord from Honda. Now get APR financing as low as 3.9% APR for 36 months on new 4-cylinder Accord sedans.
It felt like I was home. When I talked to Joe one night, it just took about 30 minutes to make me realize it was like People's First 15 years ago. They care about the customer and the community and things like that. It just felt right.
Christmas is that special time for family and friends. The folks at Buchanan's Floors and Walls in Eddyville would like to thank all of their friends for their loyal patronage. Happy holidays from Buchanan's, where we're out to get customers and keep them as friends.
just the tick of a clock, the stroke of midnight. It lasted for just a moment, literally no more than that. But for all of these people, it was worth the wait. But now many of them, Katie, are beginning to pour out of Times Square. Many of them have been here all day long. The celebration remains because the century will go on.
Ann Curry, our colleague, has been down with the crowd all evening long, and she probably can give us a good idea of what folks are doing now that the party is, well, almost over. Right, Ann?
Exactly. I'm at the position you were at earlier in the evening, Katie, and we can see people on both sides going up 46th Street, going in both directions, leaving the area. However, there are some people who are remaining, and there's still is a bit of a show. The strobe lights are still going. The music is still going. There are still people dancing in the aisles. You know, earlier, before the ball came down, there were riot police actually in riot gear all up and down, but they certainly were not needed because there was no surge that we could see from this vantage point. People just had a wonderful time watching this spectacular light show, watching the ball drop, and just feeling that sense that they're in a place at a time that will never come again in their lifetimes, and feeling as though they've been a part of it, Katie.
And, you know, you can't really tell from behind you, but a lot of people have actually left the area, haven't they?
That's right. We saw them. In fact, if you wouldn't mind turning your camera in that direction, we have people moving. You can still see them moving in both directions. They're going up 46th and 47th, and they're all, this whole area that was filled with people is now really becoming much more empty.
All right.
They've been here for so long that in many cases their driver's licenses have expired. So they're going to have a hard time getting home. We're going to be back with more of all this. Thanks very much, Ann Curry. Your local news in just a few moments. We'll be back with Millennium 2000 Times Square.
Hey guys, what you up to?
Mom's got a bad headache, so we're taking her some ice cream.
Well, maybe I can help too. I'll be right there.
For headaches, doctors recommend Tylenol more than any other brand. It's the most trusted combination of strength and safety in pain relief today.
Of the year.